Hey guys, you're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch. We're here in my kitchen. We are, if you watched the video before this, you saw that we have a cow tongue in this red box that I got at the grocery store. And it's a non-GMO cow tongue. It was $18. And I have to say that if you don't like seeing meat cut up, or if you're a vegan and you don't like to see these kinds of things, then you probably want to skip this episode and then just see it on my channel after it's dehydrated. Because I know that a lot of people don't want to see what's in this box. So disclaimer to everybody who comes on, and warning that there's a cow tongue in here. We're going to cut it up so that we can dehydrate it and use it in witchcraft and hoodoo workings. Okay, mojo bags, temporary workings that maybe you want to bury, anything to do with the tongue. So shut up spells, gossip workings, communication working, communication workings, clear speaking if you have problems with speaking clearly or getting your true words out. Some of us speak and we're trying to say something, but we just never get our point across. So that's another thing that you could use this for. Hi, I see one person's here. I just want to say caution, because we're going to be, cutting up and getting the tongue ready for the dehydrator, because I'm sure that some people are going to want to know how I did it. And yes, it will go up for sale on the Etsy shop. So just inquire and we'll get you some. So in preparation, I take off all of my jewelry. And all of my jewelry that's like a lot, so I keep that separate, but I still keep it here with me because it is a part of me and my magical workings and all of that. So let me tell you some of the things I do in preparation just to get myself clean to handle it and the area ready, and some of the things that I use. So I'm a witch that uses all the kinds of DNA that I have, except for the ones that are disgusting to me, okay? So but I do keep my toenails and my fingernails. Before this working, since I'm going to be handling meat, I'm going to clip my fingernails, and I just wanted to show you the containers I keep them in. They're little glass containers. This one's empty, okay, so I'm going to show it to you. Oh no, it actually has lamp back in it. Lamp back is the soot that kind of is on the edge of things. But anyway, I keep my nail clippings inside of little glass containers like this that have little lids. And I just recycle them from, like, sometimes we buy things that come in these little containers. Chloe, get down from there. And so we'll keep them. So anyway, I'm going to quickly clip my nails and then just kind of talk and tell you what kinds of things you could do with nail clippings. So you can add them to any working to put your DNA in. It's just as good as blood. And I hope that a lot of people know that. I know some workings call for blood, and I know that blood is symbolic of a lot of things, so you definitely want to use it in certain stuff. I totally agree. But if you're just trying to add your DNA, your personal, as an ingredient, your personal self as an ingredient to attach you to that working, which, don't do that willy-nilly. Don't add DNA unless you're really sure that you want that working to be done in your name and all of that. But yeah, I save my fingernails separate from my toenails. And I'm just cutting my fingernails because I'm going to be handling the heart and cutting it up and all of that. But there's not a lot of people here in the chat. Hey Nello! At least Nello's here. Nello, why do you think I keep my toenails and my fingernails separate? Why do you think I would do that? And then also, let's talk about what toenails would be good for and what fingernails would be good for. I think the fingernails are really attached to, like, where we've been in that last 3 days, or, however quickly your nails grow, depending on how well you eat. But let's see if we got a comment. Yeah, so I save the nails just as an easy way to add DNA to the working. But also, you know, a real personal touch to my last 3 to 5 days since I clipped them last. I keep them short these days because, I don't know, I've been wanting to use my bare hands more. And nail polish, just like, I can never really do it that well. So yeah, I save all my nail clippings just so that you can add them into a candle that you're burning. Just to say, like, to get your wish. So somebody's really sick and ill and you have a candle burning. You can just add, I don't want you guys to see my nails, but you can add them right into the candle, just a couple clippings as you're saying your intention and what you need the universe to do for you, okay? I'm sure you see a couple things on the table. Rose water, I have that out because I'm going to massage this heart with rose water, okay? And I do also have hand sanitizer out. This one has a nice chamomile and lavender. I'm not a big fan of antibiotics and things that kill germs, because germs keep us healthy in a way that, like, we have a good tolerance to fighting things off. If everything is germ free, then, you know. So anyway, I see something else. You love that idea, Nell? Both sensory, but one is also touching the great Earth Mother. Yeah, absolutely. And if you're, you know, burying your nails into a working, that's really doing something for it. So I'm just trimming them here, like I said, so that I don't get, like, beef under my nails. You know, I want to be able to wash my hands and get them really clean. So, and you know, we wash our nails, but there's still where we've been, where we've been is attached to it, you know. So that's interesting. And also, when you clip your nails, sometimes that skin on the edge of your finger, that's another part of DNA. The very skin on the edge of your finger, you know, they clip that off when they give you a manicure, or your cuticles, that's skin. So you can save those separately and add your skin into workings. Like we talked about before, leather is cow skin, so I always apply it to, like, protection and safety of, you know, it keeps the organs together and safe and makes a whole life. So, like, when I use leather, I always kind of think about that and add that into what I'm got going on in my head. So yeah, nails are just one that doesn't gross a lot of people out. You can even add nails, sprinkle them at the base of your tree that you're trying to bond with. Like, I have that DNA meditation tree I talk about all the time, and that also I put into the 73 herbs for $73 on my Etsy page. I still have 3 of those available. Thanks again, Deborah, for purchasing that one. I have 4 total, but 3 now. Yay! You keep food in my fridge. Thank you, guys. Alright. Yeah, getting more and more up on the Etsy shop, so check that out. Jukshylady. Jukshylady. Alright, I've got only 1 finger left to go, but like I say, you can clip the skin around the edge of your nail because, I mean, it's up to you and how you do your personal grooming. But if you are one that takes the edge of the skin away, that's just kind of like weird from where the nail was longer, and now it's just like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I might have dry hands. So I will be adding a couple fingernails into my candle today for this working, because I'm really trying to enchant this heart to do the workings, the 3 or 4 things that we talked about. And I'm going to put 3, and then I'm going to hold my intention. And since these nails are from my hands, not my feet, because the toenails we do for other workings, like, we'll talk about that later if someone brings it up, but these are from my hands, and right now I'm going to be putting so much intention when I massage this cow's heart with rose water, and I'm going to be putting the intention of what we're trying to do, okay? So this will be fun. This will be a long video. Normally these processes take me a long time. I just take my time with it. And I thought it would be just a great time to just chat with you guys, show you the kitchen again. We're not always in here and everything. And this is another thing I save. I don't know if you want to see it, but I collect the marrow from inside of bones. So, like, when we did that turkey and I dismembered the turkey and collected all the bones for the hoodoo bone throwing or casting kits, Oh, Nello, that's great. I'm so glad you're taking notes. That's so cool. So I use the marrow out of, and I keep them in one of these glass containers that I just recycle from when we purchase stuff. But this is like the marrow from out of bones from the turkey, from my family's turkey. And marrow is, we talked about that around Thanksgiving time. Marrow is the like purest of the DNA, really. If you've ever looked into bone marrow transplants, I knew a woman when I was younger, oh bless her heart, Jan, she's in heaven for sure, because that's what she believes, and that's where I believe she is, because she was one of the best ladies I know. But she had to overgo, like, because she had leukemia, bone marrow transplant from her brother, and they both said it was so painful. So anyway, I keep marrow from that family turkey, and I keep my nail clippings and my toenail clippings, but I keep them separate. And the toenail clippings, possibly you could add those into if you're about to take a journey, or you know, maybe you're trying to do things with your getting moving or motivation. That to me is the feet, whereas the hands are like creating, and right now I added the fingernails to the candle, because I'll be creating with my hands. So, I'm not going to use this until the hand sanitizer until after I'm done touching the heart. But I'm not going to be touching the heart for a while. We're going to be doing some preparation stuff, which I want to talk about as kind of like I say, I make it into a ritual. And I just make up my own ritual. But I try and do it this way every single time. Now when it comes to the dehydrator, it's different than cooking. You can't just cook this meat and think you could use it in a working. We're going to turn it into jerky, basically, by dehydrating it. We're sucking all the moisture out. Think of it like this. If you were to cook this, it'd be pretty much like a steak. It tastes like steak. I've eaten cow tongue many, many times on the farm, and in my adult life, too, because I love it. So the cow tongue's here, and if you just cook it, think, I cook a juicy steak. Well, it's juicy for a reason, like, you couldn't just put that in a working unless you were going to bury it right away, okay? But to dehydrate it, you can put it in a jar like jerky and keep it for, I don't know, a year, maybe longer. So I'll have enough for my workings for the next year, and then to sell some on Etsy. So you can get these like sheets. They're very thin. They're kind of like wax paper, but that you can put in the dehydrator, and you can get 5 and 10 packs on Amazon. Sadly, they don't fit perfectly over this dehydrator, but they do the white one. So as you can see, there's still going to be, all you really need is air to come up through this hole. The hole has to be here, but this will make it so that the blood doesn't get on my tray. Of course, I'm still going to wash and sanitize the tray, but I don't use bleach. However, this dehydrator I've been using for only things that are like chicken's feet and poisonous foods. The white dehydrator behind me, I use only for things that I know people could be putting in teas or magical workings, etc. But the only things I put in here are things that like you wouldn't want to eat off of, alright? Because this one doesn't have a temperature gauge. And it ends up doing this to your fruits. Here is a dehydrated orange from the white machine. Here is a dehydrated orange from this machine. That's why I use this one for chicken's feet and cow tongue and things that are like that, you know. Things that I dehydrate, like pig heads and stuff. If I cut those apart, I dehydrate them. I do it on this one. So I have 2 separate dehydrators. This one, meats never go in it, because I know that vegan people and raw foods people buy from me, because I'm using this dehydrator because I can keep it at that raw temperature, whereas and it cooks like, and it dehydrates like this. But this black dehydrator over here dehydrates like this if you leave it and forget about it. You can leave this and forget about it for a month and it will still look just like this, because you're not cooking it. You're dehydrating it at raw, which is 90 to 100 degrees. Okay, anyway, on with the process. So it's nice to have one of these, or you can cut out and make yourself one out of wax paper. I think that that's fine. I've never had a problem with that, but I don't know. Since you're not eating this food, it's probably fine. Alright, so anyway, you can get these on Amazon. It looks like I got like a 6-pack, because I have 6 of them. So they must sell them in 6-packs. Yeah, they're just like wax paper cloth type things. Okay, so we have the cow tongue, and I've already said to everybody, warning, we're going to be showing a cow tongue in this video and cutting it up and putting it in the dehydrator. Also showing you the ritual as we go. Cut my nails, put some nails into my candle down below, because I do a ritual with this where I massage it with rose water. But I need to put my rose water into this because I want to mist it from this onto the heart. And this is a new one I got. You know how I keep my Florida water in here? Well, I've got this for the rose water. Oh, that noise! Oh my god. That was horrible. I'm sorry. So on the inside, they look like this. See? I love this glass one that I found. And I went to go purchase new ones of these on eBay. They're like $100. I was shocked. So anytime you see these at the thrift store, get them. So this one is just like a, I don't know what to call this metal. Maybe stainless steel. It doesn't say, it just says made in Hong Kong with a star on the bottom. But same concept. So I'm going to get my rose water in there. After I rinse it with a little bit of well water. I love this brand. This is also the brand that I offer with my graveyard kits, which are on Etsy. You guys should check out the graveyard kits. You either get a bottle of Florida water or a bottle of rose water. But rose water, we're using it to massage the cow heart for, excuse me, it's not a cow heart, it's a cow tongue. But I always do rose water in a ritual with a meat that I'm dehydrating. Because I'm trying to, you know, pay love to the spirit of the animal, thank it for what it's doing for us. And we're using the cow tongue in communication workings, however you intuitively want to use it, in gossip removal workings, in to help with maybe you getting the right words out, what you're trying to say if you're not a good communicator, you know. What other kind of workings could we use it in, you guys? What are your ideas and thoughts? Hey Ozark Oracle, how are you? Hey Silver Willow, I saw the first part of your little video about, you know, your alter ego. I haven't watched it fully yet. Nello taking notes as always. So good to see you, Nello. Silver Willow and Ozark. So good to see you. So yeah, did you guys see this already? I gave you the disclaimer that, caution, we're going to be cutting up a cow tongue and getting it in the dehydrator. So, this is it. And we'll be using that for some lovely workings. Okay. I'm going to screw this in on the porch because I don't want it to make that horrible noise in your ear again. Hey, it works! Look at this. Rose water. Oh, that smells so good. Oh, that's great. I love that. So you know how I use my Florida water that same way? I'll spray it, I'll clap my hands 3 times and ask Spirit to be with me. So in ritual though, I always use rose water. And yeah, you know. know, then it's around for love workings and all that other good jazz. I like to light incense. This candle is lit from my altar candle in my bedroom. And I'm burning Nag Champa because whenever I just love Nag Champa as an offering. So I'm giving offering to the spirit of this cow and thanking it for the working it will be doing for me and my dear friends, okay? And Noah said someone made a hunter souffle one. Dude, I was just thinking about True Blood and the, so what animal was it? A rabbit heart in the hunter souffle in True Blood? That was such a cool episode. I love season 2. Minus all the wild black-eyed people was like kind of scary. Trying to get me and everything in the shot, you guys, it's kind of difficult. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to be cleaning this off at the kitchen over here. I'm going to spray some rose water over the sink. Alright, so you can save the blood, or you can buy cow's blood separate, but just know that you can save the blood. And you can save the sheath of the tongue, you can separate that. You could cut just the tip off for a shut-up working that you needed to bury outside. Honestly, if you need to do a shut-up working, that very tip of the tongue right there, that portion, cut it off. And then cut these into pieces and dehydrate these into pieces like we're talking about. So that's what I'll be doing. And then, I guess today or tomorrow we'll do that cow tongue shut-up working. Which also, Mario the Wild Witch did a shut-up working vegan style, and I wanted to do one taxidermy style. So I've been wanting this for a while. Glad it's here. Let's get to it. Sorry, I forgot to clean first, and I can't really work on counters that aren't clean. So talk amongst yourself. I'm just going to do some cleaning before I touch this tongue. And once I touch this, I won't be able to answer comments. But you guys please talk amongst yourself, and I'll see your comments as much as I can. But they used a human heart in the show. Cow heart would do fine. It was a crazy season of True Blood. I love True Blood, though. Some tea. We'll be here for a while, so if you guys have to pop in and out, it's fine, but I'm just honestly chilling in the kitchen, taking my time doing this, a little offering and the like, so that's where we're at. The candle's gonna drip. Hey Paris, how are you? Hey little bunny ASMR. We're hanging out in the kitchen and we're getting ready to get that in the dehydrator and do a raw working on the tip of the tongue, a shut up working, which will be a video probably tomorrow. But we're preparing it, and we're doing that all in a lovely ritual with rose water. I'm going to massage it with rose water and get ready for communication workings, shut up workings, and gossip workings. So how is everybody today? What's everybody up to? And have you ever eaten cow tongue? Has anybody here ever eaten cow tongue? As a kid, we ate it on the farm because we used the whole animal. And it is delicious. It really, really is. We're giving a little offering to the spirit of the animal that we'll be working with, and I'm doing that in the form of some Nagchampa incense and then a candle, which I've added my DNA to. And we have the dehydrator over here with some sheaths on them for dehydrating pieces of tongue to put into mojo bags for those things like communication and clear speech and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to make my cup of tea, drink a bit of it, because I won't get to do any of that once I'm cutting this up. And I just thought it'd be fun to hang out in the kitchen and have a good time with you guys. This candle's going to leak. That's why I don't know what to do. I need to get a plate from my room, so there I go. There. And we were talking earlier today about how a lot of us use cow skin all of the time, whether it be in our couch or our clothing or our workings, like to bind them. I use like leather pieces to bind a lot of my rattles and wands and mojo bags and all kinds of stuff. So, and the skin can have very protective qualities. The cow skin, which we talk about or we use a lot, but don't think of it as taxidermy probably. Hey Buzz, how are you? So good to see your last videos. And Mario's here. Guess what, Mario? I did it. I got the cow tongue. So we're going to save the end of the cow tongue for binding working, for shut up working, which is the Mario the Wild Witch who's here. He and I were going to do a collab on that. I'm just about 3 or 4 months late on my half. So make sure to check out his shut up working that he did. Is that what you called it, Mario? Shut up? Yeah, so Buzz, welcome, welcome, and it was good to see your videos the other day too. So, and also if you go to the farm, they're going to have all the parts. They're going to have the eyes, they're going to have the skull, they're going to have the tongue, the hooves, and we have a cow hoof here that we got at the pet store for $2. And so you can intuitively use all these parts. Tangerine funnily broke up, we were guessing what was inside of the box, and it's a tongue, we know that now, but we were guessing, and so she guessed eyeballs, and I was thinking, I wish I could have eyeballs of a cow, because growing up around them and being so close with cows for so long on a farm, I really got to understand that they speak through their eyes, and it's just this amazing, beautiful thing that I can't really explain. So using all these different parts intuitively, what else do you think you could use a tongue for? Ozark says my youngest used to like playing with deer eyes when he was little. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating because we have them and we can't remove ours, can we? So it's fascinating the bodies exhibit toured the world, or at least the United States, I believe it toured the world though. And it was the Chinese bodies, and you can see all the parts of anatomy. I saw that thing 3 times because twice in Las Vegas and once when it was here in Seattle for so long. And because in massage school, I wanted to see the muscles and the bones that I was touching. Like, I was touching them and working with them, but I couldn't understand what they really looked like. So it's fascinating. Just the human body, human anatomy is fascinating. And it doesn't make you a serial killer or a psychopath unless you're hurting animals. But if the animal is, gone for whatever reason, and you didn't hurt it, but you're trying to utilize these parts in a magical way, I think that it's a really beautiful thing to give an offering to the spirit of the animal that we're about to work with. And I'm literally going to massage rose water love into it and thank it for what it's going to do. So what else could we use tongue for in workings? Yes, and Assembly says communication issues. Absolutely, that's on our list. Get someone to speak. Mario, that's a great idea. Get someone to tell the truth. Oh, I love it. I love it. Let's write that. Let's write them all down. Oh, that's such a good one. Get someone to tell the truth. Get a pen, y'all. I'm so excited. Is that what you mean, Mario, or do you mean just get them to speak in general? Get them to speak. Oh, or maybe you have a victim of some domestic violence or rape, and they just cannot tell anybody except they've told you. And they want to speak out so badly, but they don't know how. Maybe you could help them with the working with this to help them to get the courage to speak. Oh gosh. Right? Like, what do you guys think about that? It could be. Curbing gossip? Yep, exactly. We definitely have gossip removal or curbing gossip on the list. And we have communication on the list. Which, in fact, then you could say you could also do some third chakra work with this, because the third chakra is the throat chakra. Okay, so let's put third chakra on there. Wait, excuse me, fifth. The fifth chakra is the throat chakra. The third is the solar plexus. So remember chakras. Root chakra is down here at the very, very, very base of your spine, the coccyx. And then then you have the sacral chakra, and that's there at your genitals, okay? And then you have the solar plexus, which is at your belly button, the heart at your heart, and then the throat is here, communication. So the tongue lies right in the throat, and also the throat chakra, I believe, resonates with communication. So fifth chakra workings. And this is how we do our intuitive aspect of this. This isn't stuff we're finding in books, right? I mean, I didn't find this stuff in a book. I may have seen it being used as an ingredient in a book, but I'm really not one who goes into a book to use spells from books. But I love to get YouTube ideas of spells and then twerk them up my way, which is what I really suggest everybody do. Emily says, I always respect the spirit of the animals I consume. That's amazingly great too, and I think when people pray before their food in whatever way they pray, whether it's Christian or otherwise, or Catholic or Christian, whether it's however you pray before you eat, that's such a wise thing to do. Even if you are eating fast food, like pray before you eat, thank everything, the earth and the animals, if you're eating meat, that went into it, or the dairy or whatever, and before you consume it, because I believe those energies will change after you've thanked them and just held like a moment of pause for them. Right? Does that make sense? Alright, so what other ways? Expression of ideas. We can only get an idea of ideas through the magic of speech, so the tongue is the vector through which language is imparted. Absolutely, Buzz. That's fantastic. I love what you said. How do I break that down and say it? Expression of ideas. And I love that word, vector. And also language, right? Maybe you've fallen in love with somebody who does not speak your language at all. Maybe you need to do some working so that somehow you guys can communicate through not language but just through your eyes or through your touch or through gestures, right? Perhaps we could do it for that. Language barrier work. So yeah, these are really cool, fun ideas that when we just put our heads together, we come up with so much and we really get those creative ideas flowing, which I absolutely love and adore. Little Florida water. Okay, so I think we should start cutting, but remember, once I start cutting, oh yes, public speaking, we're adding that to the list because we talked about it before as well. If your job is public speech, or if your new job is public speaking, or if you're a kid and you're in debate class, or if you're just trying to improve on that, or if you want to do a YouTube channel but you don't think that you have the confidence to do public speaking, absolutely. Public speaking workings. And I think that has a lot to do with courage. I feel like courage comes up a lot in my thoughts, at least. So I'm going to put that on its own category, courage. Speech is a huge part of courage and our confidence and what will happen if I say this, you know. Or if you have a potty mouth and you really want to like have a mojo bag to help stop swearing, you could literally do the silliest things with this. All kinds of things. Stop swearing mojo bag. Right? You carry it on your person and it helps you all the time. Sweeten someone that is rude or rough when they speak. Yes. Verbally sweeten. Oh, what a good idea. See, that's amazing, Mario. Thank you, the Wild Witch. Verbal sweetening. Verbal sweetening for rough partner. Oh, I love that. I think in one way or another we could all use that. Just smear some honey on that tongue. Oh yeah, just put it in a jar of honey. Raw Manuka honey. Oh god. Okay, we're gonna do it. I'm not going to be eating any of this, so I'm putting it on the knives and the cutting board. This is rose water. This is an offering to the spirit of the cow that we're working with. I'm going to be massaging it with rose water because massage is one of my talents, and that was my job for 9 years. But my hands were dying, and I need them for my workings and for my art and for so many things I do with my hands, and they were crippling doing massage. Hey, Madam Butterfly, hey, everybody. Your mother-in-law could benefit. Oh, you know, I'm just going to put mother-in-law on that tongue workings, too. I love that. Thank you. Oh, God, yes. Okay, can't say any more about that, but let's get going here. I'm going to be massaging the tongue in a red bowl if I have it clean. Because see, the theme is red. Red, 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 red. So you can add color magic into your utensils from the kitchen, you guys. Absolutely. Where's that red? Oh! Gotcha. I found it, but I won't be using it because there was a moth in it. No, well, should I use it because there's a live moth in it? Is that a sign? There's a live moth in this bowl that I wanted to massage the cow tongue in. pretty cool, actually. I think moths are always a... Oh yeah, drink my tea. Thank you, no. Thank you. No, I need you around. Like, I really am so glad that half the time I'm with you guys. And you guys are helping me get through this loneliness while my husband's on vacation. My mother comes over to visit me all the time, you know, but you guys are really helping me get through the loneliness. Thank you, Nello. I would have been so sad. And so when I'm not going to be able to really like touch my phone while I'm cutting this and preparing it for the dehydrator. So I have to ask that you understand that I can't scroll back on stuff for maybe like 10 minutes. It won't take long once I get going, but 10, 20. Cup up. PG tips. Sugar and half and half. Woohoo! Cheers to love, cheers to friendship, cheers to good company, cheers to the spirit of this lovely animal that we're going to be working with. Cheers to the cow in general, like honestly, and I have half and half in here, so cheers to the spirit of that animal, and thank you very much for making my tea so much better. So like I said, there was a moth inside of my... Actually, I can't use this. I shouldn't use this bowl because it does have chinchilla dust in it. I think Alex gave a chinchilla a bath in this bowl. But you can, again, carry in the theme of love and gratitude and all the things in color magic in your kitchen magic too, right? I'm using a red candle. I'm using a red towel, a red box to case the heart in, red flannel inside, red knife, and I've sprayed all this stuff with rose water because I'm not going to be eating any of the cow tongue. I'm going to be using it for workings and dehydrating it, okay? So, I'm just going to... Oh, the moth is gone. I took away his little home. I'm sorry, bud. Where'd you go? I'm sorry. So... It'll probably be better to just do it in this clear bowl because then you guys can see, I guess. That'll be good for you. We'll get to see the taxidermy which massage the tongue and with rose water as an offering. And it'll probably make it smell pretty darn good too. Because when you dehydrate stuff, like when I dehydrate chicken's feet, it makes the whole house smell like a pet shop. Which I talked about a few times, but... Okay, so wish me well. And I can't comment back for a little bit. Hi, Madam Butterfly Magic with hot tea. How are you? Yes, cheers. What color moth? It was dark gray, and it was like this big. Not large, like as big as the little part of your finger, like that first knuckle up. I love cows. Doop, 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 doop. Everybody make sure to hit the like button if you do in fact enjoy this content. Thank you for joining me. Okay, here we go. I put my symbol in smoke above the bowl and any other symbols that I want to carry into this. So I do some protection symbols. And just however you feel what you need to be doing with that. But create your own ritual for how you do this. This is mine. Can you guys see? And I also catch the blood. Now you could totally, I've clipped my nails so that I don't get a bunch of like cow's blood under my nails, but if you wanted to wear gloves, you certainly could, but I like to bond with the spirit of the animal by touch. Okay, so that's just something that I like to do. It's probably weird, that's okay. It's okay. And you can just put paper towels around your stuff if you know you're going to be handling meat and then picking it up again with a rubber band or whatever. So we're going to cut this open. This has been at my altar for about an hour, just trying to bless it into my home and bless the spirit and call to the spirit. You do it however your intuition tells you to, though, guys. And you certainly don't need to catch the blood, but I feel like you're catching that same spirit, and I can, you know, work with it again or give it special offerings if I do that. This is just intuitive magic. Can you guys see? You like my socks, thanks. Moths seem to be creatures of the night, so perhaps symbolize intuition. That was Ajahn said intuition as you typed it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So when I was in the store and I was choosing which tongue to choose, I actually asked the spirit. I was trying to, you know, mentally ask the spirit of the different, there were 6 different tongues there. And it took me a while, but this was the tongue that I felt wanted to be used for my workings. So take your time while choosing it, just like you would if you were foraging out in nature and you ask the tree, may I have a limb if there's no fallen branches, you know, because you need that wood for whatever magical intention. So remember to treat it kind of that same way when you know that you're going to get chicken's feet or a cow's heart or a cow's tongue or whatever. You know, try and mentally ask and get confirmation if you can. And that's going to heighten your abilities to, you know, listen. So I've got an opening to the top of the bag, and like I say, I choose to keep the blood. I'll keep it in the freezer straight away. I'll keep this on my altar for 10 minutes and sit with it after I'm done with the video and say a personal prayer over it of thanks. And then I will put it into a little jar in my freezer and label it. That way we can have another element to the spirit of this animal, and blood holds probably the most amount of spirit. A lot of people join the room. Just so that you know, I can't touch my phone and answer, but I will get back to the chat as soon as I'm done handling this raw product, okay? Again, this is filled with rose water, and I'm going to massage that onto the tongue as an offering. can buy beef's blood in a container in the frozen section at international markets, or, you know, sometimes places like Whole Foods will have beef tongue, but international markets are the way to go for animal parts. Pretty bright red still, which tells me that this was frozen pretty quickly right after it was butchered, which is good. And it's non-GMO and like organic beef tongue pretty much. So I don't think that there were any preservatives injected into it to change the color. So now I've got my blood. It's not a ton, you know, but it's something and it's there, and I'm going to set it over here. It's totally spiky and spiny on the top of the tongue when you touch it. So again, you guys might, you know, if you have a soft stomach, you might not want to look, but I guess you wouldn't be here if you didn't want to see. I'm not a fan of tap water, but it has to be used when you're doing something like this where you're touching raw products, and so I just want to quickly see how the chat's doing because I'm nervous that what I'm doing is too much. Because I want to show you guys stuff like this, I just worry that it's like too gross or too much. You know, I had a lot of reviews when I showed you guys how to clean off chicken's feet and that. So let's see. You love that box? I know, me too. It's an old cognac box, I guess. Just pouring a little more rose water over top of the tongue. And then I'm going to be massaging this in after I catch up here on comments. I sanitize my hands and I wash them. No international markets around their silver willow. Ooh, check Amazon. Because Amazon does food. Maybe they could send you a frozen cow tongue. Mario the Wild Witch says, yeah, cow tongue has a very, very weird texture to it. Once I got liked by a cow. Oh, licked. And you know how it is. Yeah, if a cow licks you, it's very scratchy. And they will give you a big kiss, like, and you see how big their tongues are. They're just monstrous. So I'll show you closer looks, but it's fuzzy, and if you were to cook this to eat it, now this rose water is in fact edible. It's from the part of the grocery store where they have like vanilla extracts and things like that of the baking area. That's where you find the rose water, or at least that's where I do. Paris says, I enjoy watching others do their craft. Me too. And oh good, I'm glad. Buzz says, don't worry Jen, it's fascinating. Okay, good. But yeah, if you were to cook this and eat this, that sheath after it's cooked, comes off. The big furry sheath. And remember, this is a big old mussel. Alright, let's go. Alright. Well, Mario's... Wait, hold on. Ozark, Jen, this is great, hun. No squishy tummy. Farm girl taxidermist here. Ozark, I don't think I needed taxidermy. That's awesome. And that's so cool to know you're a farm girl as well. So have you eaten this, being a farm girl? Have you eaten cow tongue? Mario says she literally wrapped her tongue around my arm. It was a big, huge tongue and a very big cow. That's so flippin' cute. That's so cute. You are appreciating animals. Many think of them as just being a product. You interact with them. I sure do. I sure do. Okay, let's get to it. Again, we're not eating this, so I'm just going to put some smoke around it as a thank you. Do my symbols again. I have to use the bathroom because I checked that tea. I'll be right back. That's hilarious. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to massage my intention into it with this lovely, lovely rose water. And another thing that the rose water will do is it will certainly help with the smell while dehydrating. It won't make it smell so pet shop-like in here, I'm hoping. When you dehydrate meats, it tends to smell different. And when I did massage on humans, mostly I just massaged my cat and my family, you know. But when I did massage on humans, I always used to like to use rose water in my lotions. Just add it to the creams or lotions. Or just anoint people on their chakra zones before I put any lotion on their body. And just to add some like amazing vibrations and herbs and love to the work. Because massage is such a beautiful energy working that anybody can do for their loved ones. So I'm going to be getting a towel as well to put under my cutting board because this is quite wet now. Since I didn't get a ton of blood, I'm also going to save this blood and rose water in a freezer jar. So I'll save 2 different types of blood now. I'll save that little bit of blood I've got there, and then I'll save this blood and rose water combination so that I can again bond with the animal in the working. Maybe I'll feed the mojo bag with a little bit of that, or, well, no, it would probably be the, no, this would be the gree-gree, and then you'd I don't know, everybody has their own way of doing that, so I'd probably just make it into more of a witchcraft working where I could go on my own. But definitely the tongue of animals is used in hoodoo workings, the heart, the eyeballs, why not? And that tongue does, it just feels so funny. There's that big cow tongue, and as you can see, there's where it goes back deep into the throat, but the whole entire thing is quite fuzzy. And bumpy. And there's that leathery, can you hear it? You can see it. And the underside is very, very smooth. So that is the cow tongue. Let's see how large it is in comparison to like a hand. So it's about as big as the middle of your arm, like here to there. Kind of smoke out that tongue a little bit. There we go. Whatever direction the smoke's going, I just kind of put the tongue in that direction, and you can see it kind of swirl around the bowl. Or you can take the last of your incense and just, you know, the very end of the stick, and just kind of smoke it out. I'm using Nag Champa. And now that I think of it, I'm quite excited to keep the rose water with the blood. I've never kept it before. I normally just get a better amount of blood in the container. But I haven't dried out a tongue like this for, I think the last one lasted me about a year. But I did a big working on half of it, and then this back part is what I cut up and dehydrated. So this is my second time. But oftentimes, if it's been a year since I've done the ritual with the object, I would take it out in the moonlight or whatever, but if it's been a year, I will kind of re-bless it. So kind of like put rose water, anoint the outside of the glass bottle that I keep it in with rose water, talk to the spirit of the animal, thank it again, or give it an offering or something like that, just on a random whenever I walk by and think about it. And an offering doesn't have to be any more than a tea light or an incense, you know, it's something you were probably going to do anyway, but you're just giving it to the spirit. Okay, so like I say, the cutting board I've already sprayed with rose water and all my tools, because I'm not going to be eating off of any of this. I don't think I have a red towel, but if I did, I'd lay a red towel down. No, I do. Right there. so I can see some comments here. Alright, Buzz, see you soon. We're gonna eat dinner. Yeah, awesome. Fresh intentions, absolutely. Okay, let's get this tongue cut up. I'm saying we're gonna put this towel underneath it to catch any blood that kind of seeps out. Can you see? Okay. So I'm going to let this drip off because I'm going to be keeping that again, like I say. And then I'm going to take it and again give thanks to the animal right before I cut into it. I just always give loads of thanks. And this skin is going to be quite tough to cut through. So that's the main part that I'm saying that I'm going to keep for my my working that I'll be burying in the ground. And I'm trying to show you guys just how leathery that tongue is. And very, very soft on the bottom. So you could cut it even shorter, and I might cut it just to the whole covered up bit. I was trying to decide whether I was going to cut it there or not, but I think I might keep it all because I'm going to do a lot of, I think, binding. I think I'm going to do a binding working on this to get somebody to stop talking about me. But who knows? I may change my mind. This is a very tasty meat. I know a lot of people might not guess that, but if you think about it, it is quite lovely. And when you look at the inside, you can see that there's a lot of adipose tissue. It looks like a steak. There's a lot of beautiful fats that run through the meat, the muscle of the tongue. So that means it's going to be like a lovely buttery texture when you eat it. And if you look even closer, you can see all the little fats that run through the meat there. So this is the underside of the back of the tongue. Like this. And we cut off the front of the tongue right there. Okay. So you could use this for a second working. You could put these in your freezers for when you need to do it later on if you didn't want to keep it fresh. Since you're not going to eat this, it can be frozen twice or 3 times or whatever. So I know for sure I'll be dehydrating all of this because there's no tongue bit to it except for this, which was underneath the back of the tongue. But there's no like tongue skin on it. There's no real resemblance of a tongue. So this is what I'm going to definitely be dehydrating the whole of for my mojo bag workings, etc. Dehydrated cow tongue for future workings, and the freezer's the other way to go, or fresh. Ha! This one cut into the shape of a heart. No joke. Look at that. So I'll dry it just like that. This chunk just kind of looks like a cow tongue. Just kind of there, right? So we'll put these in the dehydrator. You can cut them into smaller chunks if you like. I probably should cut this in half. It should be at least thin because you want it to fully You want it to fully dehydrate. So these look better. Cutting it in half. If you have a good knife, cut it as thinly as you can. Let's try and use this better knife and see if we can get a better result. So it's got like a lot of little different pockets of meat. Some are really soft and gooey and fatty, some are hard. This one actually looks like a kidney, kind of, doesn't it? Like a little kidney bean. So who knows, you can cut them into whatever shapes you like, but again, thin is going to be good, small is going to be good for a mojo bag, just a small piece of something. You don't need a lot. But you see what I'm saying? These cut into little things that look kind of like kidney beans. I don't know. Now remember, when you get a beef tongue that has come from an organic farm, it doesn't have a bunch of hormones pumped into it. It's more of a whole organic animal, like even as far as emotions go. And the emotions of the energies of the animal, how it was killed. Now, I honestly spend the extra money on an organically raised whatever type of meat that I'm going to use in my witchcraft, or I go to a farm where I know the farmers are kind people and get the products. And the reason is because if they were treated kindly in this life, I feel like they do a kinder working for you in your witchcraft workings. Just like when we talk about when we use the organic eggshells versus the non-organic eggshells, how the energies are so different. And the white eggshells were treated so poorly. They probably never saw the light of day. They lived their whole life in their own feces, etc., etc. That's going to have a really angry, upset, disgruntled energy attached to it, in my opinion, and from what I've felt. So I feel like if you're able to spend a little bit extra when you're getting something for a working, to do it, because you're going to have that beautiful, happy, lived energy attached to it. A free-range chicken versus even non-organic and just a free-range chicken, it's able to run around. Like, it's not lived its life in a cage. And people believe that, you know, a lot of vegans and vegetarians, they're like, I can't eat meat after I've seen Earthlings or whatever movies they've been watching, which is great. Like, honestly, we should do more of that to help us not consume so much that's at least not raised well. So that's kind of my thought, and I'm really happy that the cow tongue they had just happened to be like a well-raised cow tongue. It even says the farm in Oregon where it's from and everything. It's so cool. So yeah, I would try to avoid the fat, because the pieces I had that the fat were on last time, they smelled different and they were more pungent. But You know, if, like I say, if you're going to bury the working, it doesn't really matter if you're going to go outside and bury it. But if you're going to put this tongue in a mojo bag or an amulet or something like that, you might not want the smell. But a glass neck amulet would be okay. You wouldn't have any smell there as long as you put wax on the cork. Oh, come on, I need better knives. There we go. So this is probably getting a little boring for you guys, but just talk amongst each other, and moderators, please make sure you're looking out for me in the comments and everything, since I don't know what kind of folks this video will draw in. Usually it's always just good ones. I love you guys. I love that we can hang out and cut up cow tongue together, and it's all normal, and it's just all okay. Okay, the rest I'm going to cut up when we're done. I'm gonna lay out one sheet for y'all, and then here's a trick. If you get a paper towel, you can use it to open a doorknob. Look. Ah! So I'm gonna put the tongue in here that I'm gonna cut after the video's done, because I don't want it to get terribly boring. And spray a little rose water on it. About cow tongue is that it's so fatty that it's sticky, and sticky is like hard to work with for me because that becomes weird. But anyway, so let's let us get some on a tray. So I'm going to be again saving this for rituals and things like that, but I'm going to freeze it, and that's the blood and rose water. And then I also have just the blood. So you'll see the difference in color of those two. And you can keep them in the freezer. Just make sure you label. Make sure you label all the crazy stuff. And one of these days I'll show you guys all the crazy stuff in my freezer. Okay. So you do not have to use these, but it'd be a good idea to at least try and see the difference of, you know, because this fatty meat, you don't want it to get stuck on your rack till you never get it out and muddle those energies. So you get these little like wax paper type things for the dehydrator on Amazon. Or that's where I get them. And let's get that in the bowl. This was the stuff I was talking about earlier, my grandma's apple butter dish. There was one of these like types of Pyrex that are so pretty. You know, Pyrex. Yeah, I love these. So these will be for two different things, so I'm just going to go ahead and put them in two different sides. That way when I start to put herbs around them and stuff, they'll be separated. So I'll do a video with two cow tongue workings, okay? 2 fresh cow tongue workings. And we'll put all different kinds of oils that I've created over the top. Like I have all kinds of, 12 or 13 oils that I make on my YouTube. And even more personally, but we'll soak these in our oils. We'll get everything just going really awesome. It'd be great. So we're going to put these, well, we'll just leave those there for looks. Can you see? Okay, great. Now, you can try and put them out there in shapes. Like I said, this one kind of cut itself into like the shape of a heart. So I'm just going to roll with that. And it will dry in whatever shape you put it in. And you want to get them as flat as possible. So if that means just like kind of squishing it out like that, do it. And you can cut it into smaller pieces later if you need to. But get it as thin as possible. That'll take the quickest drying time. And again, this is way easier on one of these sheets than it is just the rack itself bare. These ones kind of look like little kidneys, which was kind of interesting with the fat running through that area. There's quite a few that look like that. So I just push those out flat. You could feed this to your kitty. If your kitty likes raw food, which a lot of cats do once they remember that that's part of their nature. Sometimes it just takes them trying it once or twice, raw food. But my kitties love raw. Oh, this is also an excellent offering to Bastet. She loves raw meat. What else? But yeah, you could give some to your cats and then ask them and do a working that if they eat a piece of this, they're going to be able to communicate with you better. That would be a cool idea. If your intuition tells you it's too thick, it's probably too thick. So just cut it smaller and just, yeah. Go with your intuition on thickness, thinness, and if it's right. And learn from it, because there's always next time. So just remember though that the point of the dehydrator is it has to have airflow. So just don't cover up that middle part. If you make your own one of these with wax paper, just make sure you cut that hole in the middle because the air's got to flow. Alright, so let me wash my hands and then we'll get the dehydrator set up. A lot of hand washing. Ooh, you could do this for like a working in regards to marriage counseling, like if you were trying to have better communication within your marriage, or if somebody was going through marriage counseling, you could do a working with this tongue. That would be a great way of working with it as well. And by the way, the juice didn't run off. I thought it would, but it didn't. But it's nice to have the towel there just because, you know. Okay. So are you guys enjoying this crazy episode? I'll be right back. I smeared my makeup. See you soon, Ozark. We love you. Okay, so, like, we're gonna get this set up so that we can set up the dehydrator and how that's all gonna look. But I do want to say that tonight I'll be coming back and preparing these 2 tongues for 2 different workings that you can do with fresh cow tongue. I really wish my camera... There we go, there's a good picture of the fuzziness, and that's the back of the tongue, and this is the front of the tongue. So when you put those 2 together, it's huge, you know. We said it was about as big as my forearm between the wrist and the... like that big. And Mario said that a cow tongue that licked him to give him a kiss actually wrapped around his whole arm, and it was crazy. Oh, Orzak's back, yay! Okay, you have such a beautiful energy to you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you, and Assembly, that's so sweet thing to say. I love having you guys here, and you guys are keeping me very good company while I would otherwise be like very, very lonely. But I have my things. At least I'm here at home. Fresh and touched. Mario, did you say it looked so satisfying when I was massaging the tongue with rose water? I'm going to spray the tongue with some more rose water. Right over for the dehydrator, rose water. Basically that rose water is just going to dehydrate into it, and I'm hoping that, you know, it'll make it smell uber lovely. And did you know the awesome thing about Florida water? I don't know if I say this enough, but Florida water, and I do sell it in soap form and liquid form on my Etsy shop. Florida water is like the best thing for people who work with spirit of any kind, even if that be a deity. Because the cool thing about Florida water is it's like the spiritual Purell that attracts good, happy spirits and repels negative. So if you're doing any kind of spirit work, which, you know, most of us who are practicing hoodoo in one way or another are, and a lot of witchcraft are, then Florida water is almost essential. And Paris says she loves it too. It actually does look pretty in the dehydrator rack. You're totally right. And most of you know, I do artwork that's like pinups that are floating on. I use pinup books, butcher books, and space books. And I put pinup cutouts on big raw steaks I got from the butcher book. And then I put them where they're like flying on the steak through space, you know, in a bra. And that's some of my favorite work, is just with like pictures of raw meat. If anybody has any butcher books they want to donate to the channel, please do. Yeah. So I'll love to show those. I did a video for Redman because he wanted to see the pinups on meat in space collection. Yeah, it's good. It's like Betty Page and other pinups, but a lot of Betty Page. A lot of nude Betty Pages. So here's my dehydrator. Here's my other one. This is the one that has a temperature gauge. This one. So basically, like, if I'm dehydrating poisons in this one, I do them so that they don't, I time them because this thing cooks at like, or it dehydrates at like 140 or something crazy where it can't keep something raw. And like I say, in this dehydrator, these are the oranges that come out compared to these oranges. Look at that difference from that one, okay? But this is meat, so I want to get it as hot as, you know, as a should or could, but I don't want to cook it. So I'm going to put one extra rack below it, just so it's not so close to the vents. But if I do any kind of herb, I keep the herb on the very top, and I keep all these empty vents in between, so it's not so hot. So that's one trick you can do with the dehydrator. So we're just going to keep one rack on there, and I'll show you the element below. You know, and that gets hot, and getting that hot could be a fire hazard. That's why I'm really trying to save up the Patreon money, even the little bit that comes in for that Cabela's dehydrator. That's $220. But I could put a whole watermelon in there because the rocks come out and stuff. So anyway, I'm saving up for one of those because when I did coconuts in here the other day, I smelled burning and there was like dry coconut shells on this hot element. And that could be very dangerous. So, whereas this one has a temperature gauge on it and I can keep it as low as 90. That Cabela's one goes down to 80 degrees, which is a lot of what herbalism suggests us dehydrate at if at all possible, which is like basically out in the sunshine. Alright, so one tray. And again, this is the dehydrator I only use for poisons, chicken's feet, any kind of meats. Because the meats don't get cooked at 165, therefore they're still going to contain salmonella or anything else like that because they're not technically cooked, and especially chicken's feet, right? So just be careful with that. But I feel like the energy is most pure when we don't seal over with Mod Podge, or, you know, there's 100 ways you could buy chicken's feet from me, painted to look beautiful, painted their nails, you know, I'll show you some chicken's feet if you want, I've got them around the house, but just remember that when you touch them, they're not exactly, what's the word, safe, you know, or sanitary. So I'm going to get this in the fridge while I do some research and figure out what I'm going to do with these puppies. I'm also going to get these two bloods frozen, the rose and water and blood, and then this just the cow's blood. And once I take care of all of that, I'll come on later tonight. Do any of you guys have questions before we exit this part of the video? Ozark says, Paris says, pin-ups on meat and space, awesome. Yeah, I think so too. I just love it. And then Ozark Oracle says, oh man, Cabela's has amazing dehydrators and meat grinders. Meat grinders? That's cool. Alright guys, I'll see you soon. Probably later tonight. But look at all the great ideas that we got, and I even have to add the marriage counseling. We talked about how to use, we talked about how to harvest marrow. We talked about fingernails and what to do with those versus toenails. We talked about rose water. We talked about lots of things. This was a really good video. I enjoyed it. Okay, I just wrote down marriage counseling on the list because I feel like that could really help with communication. You know why? Because sometimes in marriage counseling, it's so hard to speak because you're hearing things that are like really hard to hear. And after you hear those things, it's really hard to speak because you're trying not to be angry at the person. You're trying to take all that in, what you just heard about yourself. And it's just like when you love somebody so much, it's painful to hear those things about yourself coming from somebody that you adore. And so I think that you could really have an awesome kind of like mojo bag to carry with you during your period of marriage counseling with cow's tongue in it. So thanks, Ozark, for saying that. You rock too. In fact, I dry chicken's feet in this shape. So we'll come back and show chicken's feet on the next episode and how the progression of how that's doing in a few hours, and we'll see how it's going. So have a beautiful evening, you guys, and I can't wait to see you. All my love. Goodbye.